Understand what about the electrostatics? What do you mean by electrostatics and why it is called so? Static means rest. When the source charge is at rest, then the branch there evolved is electrostatics, right. The test charge may be in motion, does not matter, but once the source charge is at rest, then it is electrostatics, right. Then you know about the properties of the charges, but again the charge distribution depends on how it is distributed in a space, right. Distribution of charge is very important in electrostatic also. So, now you know only about the distribution of group of charges, right. When there is a group of charges, all are point charge, then how the intensity at a point can be determined, right. You will find intensity at that point with respect to all individual charges, then add them all to get the resultant intensity due to the group of charges at that point, right. So, that is called as the intensity at a point due to a group of point charges, right. Then now the question comes, when you are telling about the group, suppose let us say here is a point charge q1, here is q2, here is q3, here is q4, q5, like that, let there are n number of charges, n may be any number, there is a group of point charges, right. So, when you are going to a point here, let us say that point is represented by P, then find first the intensity due to individual charge at that point q1, q2, q3, q4 up to qn or qi, then add them all. Resultant intensity at that point P is the intensity at the point P with respect to the whole group, that is called as the group of point charges, right. If individual charge you know it, single charge, but if there is a group of charge, accordingly you find out the intensity and algebraic sum. Of course, direction is very important because it is vector quantity, right, because of, for example, let us say q1 is positive, q3 is negative, q5 is again positive, q4 is negative, then that is also a group or not, that is also a group of point charges. But then when you are finding with respect to positive charge repulsive, when negative charge attractive, then find the resultant, right. That depends on the nature of the charges, charge distribution. Nature means whether it is positive or negative, it takes or it tells what kind of intensity will be there, but intensity is a vector quantity, it is not scalar. So, when you are writing intensity, be careful about the direction, unless you are mentioning, you are wrong, right. So, then now this is one kind of distribution. Then next distributions are like that. Suppose for example, let us say, what do you mean by continuous charge distribution? Is it continuous? It is discontinuous, right. Group of point charges distributed over the space here is discontinuous, but when it will be continuous? When you can tell the distribution of point charge is continuous. Why you are telling it is discontinuous? Not uniform over the space, the charge. Yes. If you define the space in terms of the radial vector, right, then that vector is not filled up by all the points, that is why it is discontinuous, right. But if I will take a radial vector, let us say this one, here is a charge, here is a charge, everywhere there is charge, right, everywhere, then you cannot tell it is discontinuous, rather it is continuous, right. That is continuity and discontinuity function, but here it is charge, right. So, when the charge is continuously occurring, it is continuous distribution, if discontinuously occurring, then it is discontinuous distribution. So, this what I explained is the discontinuous distribution, right. Then now, if you go for the continuous distribution, then what may be the possibilities, how they can be distributed? It is a space distribution or not? This group of point charge is in space, 3 dimension, right, but this distribution is discontinuous. But if you think about the continuous charge distribution, then what may happen there? You know about the discontinuous charge distribution now, right, but similarly there may be continuous charge distribution also, and if it is continuous, then what you are expecting, how they will be distributed, so that you can tell that there is continuous distribution. How the charge can be distributed, so that you can tell yes, there is continuous distribution of charge. Again it may occur in 1D, 2D, 3D, one dimensional, two dimensional, three dimensional, right, but all are continuous, continuous in one dimension, in two dimension, in three dimension. So, then how can you distinguish continuous distribution from discontinuous distribution? No, when you will tell it is continuous, maybe length, maybe area, maybe volume, that is how can you tell that it is continuous distribution? This is not continuous, right, then when you will tell it is continuous. What is a continuous function and discontinuous function? How can you distinguish a function which is continuous and other one is discontinuous? Let us say you take a function f x in terms of x, right. Can I tell this is a discontinuous function of x, the line drawn, if it is x direction? No, cannot, right. It is a continuous function of x, but if I will draw in this way, discontinuous. Same thing for charge also, right. Same thing for charge. If every point is occupied by charge, it is continuous charge distribution, may it be line, may it be area, may it be volume, right. So, that is the difference between continuous distribution and discontinuous distribution of charge. So, if you go for length, then it is linear charge distribution. If you go for area, surface charge distribution. If you go for volume, volume charge distribution. You have to mention what kind of distribution it is, whether it is in one dimension or in two dimension or in three dimension, right. So, if it is in one dimension, it is linear, right, linear charge. This one is linear, this is surface charge distribution and this is volume, three dimension is volume, but all are continuous, right. Then of course, symbolically you should have to understand when it is linear, when it is surface and when it is volume, because the meanings are different, right. When you tell it is linear, it should be along a line, along one direction, but when it is area, over certain area, when it is volume, the volume occupied by the area, right. So, then now if you come for this linear distribution, when it is linear, then what will happen, let us say the charges are arranged in this line, right, charges are there, let the length of this line is L and it is continuous, right, but again it is uniform. What do you mean by uniform and non-uniform distribution? Not that at one point it is gathered more, other point it is less, right. Uniform means across the line equally distributed, right. Across the line, if it is uniformly or equally distributed, then you can tell it is uniform distribution of charge, but if it is non-uniform, non-uniformly distributed charge, may it be linear, area or volume, right. So, if it is, let us say it is uniform distribution, means equally distributed, not at one point many are there, at other point many are not there, equally, at each and every point charge distribution is equal, right, and continuous, continuous and also uniform. So, it is called as uniform linear charge distribution, right. Then what will happen there? How will you get the total amount of charge on that line? Could you follow me? There is uniform linear charge distribution and the length of that line is L. Then what is the total amount of charge on that length? Yes, but when it is non-uniform, you cannot take the density, that is the importance, right, that is why it is important, right. If it is non-uniform distribution, you can never tell that it is density, but if it is uniform, then you can tell density into length. Density means charge per unit length, right, charge per unit length is the density, but if it is linear, then symbolized as lambda, linear charge density, right, means total charge divided by total length is the linear charge density symbolized by lambda, right. So, suppose for example, here there are q amount of charge, then this lambda is nothing but equal to q by L, right. total charge is if q, total length is L, then the linear charge density lambda will be q by L, right. But otherwise you can write in this way also. First, what you can write for this q, let us say I will tell it is dq, it is continuous, right. Then what will be dq? Obviously it is dl, right. dq will be equal to lambda into dl. Then if I integrate both, then this side is q, total charge, or not. Over the length if you integrate, then total charge is q, and that is nothing but integration of lambda into dl. It is over length or path, right. Not necessarily the path is straight line, it may be go like that also. You take any element, let us say this small element length is dl, like that many such elements are there across the path, and if you add them all, it is replaced by integration, because it is continuous function, right. Summation is same thing as integration when it is continuous. Then, so this is the meaning of linear charge distribution, right. When there is uniform linear charge distribution, you can get the total amount of charge from this integration, right. So, that is why we are writing lambda is equal to q by L, total length is L, right. So, total charge divided by total length will give you the density, linear charge density symbolized as lambda, right. Similarly, let us say I will take an area, this is let us say the total area is A, over which there is uniform charge distribution, again uniform, right. Uniform means it is equally distributed over the whole area, then only it is uniform charge distribution. Like length, now it is area, right. Then what will happen? In the similar way, if you extend, then how will you get the total charge? It cannot be linear charge density, it should be surface charge density, right. That is total charge by total area, and it is symbolized as sigma. Sigma is the symbol for surface charge density, and obviously you can tell it is nothing but equal to q by A, right. If total charge is q, total area is A, then the surface charge density sigma is equal to q by A. And in the similar way, if I will take a small area here, elementary area, let that area be dA vector, small area is vector, right. Then how will you, forget about the direction, because you are calculating the charge is scalar, right. But let that small area is having small quantity of charge, let us say dq, right, and that dq must be equal to how much? This into dA, right. Then to get total charge you have to integrate, and this will give you q, and this will give you sigma is constant, just integrate over the area, right. So, sigma integration over area, that is the total charge. And same thing here also, you can take lambda integration over length or the path, right. So, but these are all possible only when there is uniform charge distribution, right. Everything is there only when there is uniform charge distribution, continuous and uniform, these two are very important, otherwise these are not possible, right. So, now think about the volume. If you take some 3-dimensional object which is charged, right. Here 2-dimensional object is charged, that is why it is surface. Here 1-dimensional object is charged, that is why it is linear, but like that you take for the 3 dimension, then it will be volume, right. So, for that kind of volume, let the total volume is V and total charge is Q, then accordingly there will be some density, because there is uniform distribution, and that density is symbolized as rho, volume charge density, right, and that is nothing but equal to Q by V, total charge by total volume is density, right, not mass density, charge density. So, because the same symbol is also used for mass density, be careful, right, this is not mass density, it is charge density, charge per unit volume. Then similar way, if I will take an elementary volume here, let us say this one, whose volume is dV, right, then same thing, dq will be equal to sigma dV or not, dq will be equal to sigma into dV, that elementary volume, 3-dimensional volume. If you integrate both, then I will get the total charge q is equal to sigma integration over volume or not. So, you are getting total charge in 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimension in terms of linear charge density, surface charge density and volume charge density. Symbols are lambda, sigma and rho respectively. you cannot change the symbol, right. If it is sigma, obviously it indicates that it is surface charge density. If it is lambda, linear charge density. If it is rho, volume charge density, right. So, now think if this is a discontinuous charge distribution, you are able to get the intensity at a point, right. Similarly, now if it is uniform continuous distribution also, you should have to get the intensity at a point, right. This is the continuous, as a discontinuous, but now we are coming for continuous, and again in 1 dimension, 2 dimension and 3 dimension, but ultimately field will be there, maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3 dimension, but there must be a field, right. Then how to get that field at a point? Field means intensity E, right. Let us say this is a linear charge distribution, obviously represented by lambda charge density, and I will take a point here, let this point is P, and that elementary length we have taken is dl, right. Then what will be the intensity at this point if I will connect this elementary length to that point by a vector r, right, by a vector r, then what will be the intensity at that point P due to the whole conductor or whole charge carrier, because everywhere there is charge, right. We want not to get the intensity at this point because of this elementary length dl, but for the whole length, right. So, first find for dl, then integrate it, find out how much it will be. First find for dl, then integrate it. Actually, to avoid confusion, what is there in the book, this length is taken as dl prime and the total length is taken as small l, right. But I am representing that by capital L and small l, do not confuse. In your book, this dl prime is the elementary length and the whole length is this L, not capital, right. So, then now tell what is the intensity at that point P, which is at a distance of r from this element. How will you get it? You have to do integration definitely, right. Divide the whole length into infinitesimal small lengths like this dl prime, then all are added means you are getting the total, that is integration, because it is continuous, right. Then how much you will get? This E at that point P, or better write E r vector, it tells everything, right. Electric field intensity at the point P means connected by the radius vector r. You are taking your origin at that point at dl dash, that is why it is position vector, right. Then what will be the value of this E r vector? It will be obviously 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 integration 1 by r square, it is actually this r square into r cap, then over the charge, right. This is the intensity now at that point because of the whole charge content, whole path, right. dq is for the elementary path, but when you integrate it for the whole length, right. So, now you tell due to the group and this type, is there any difference or both are same? You cannot write them in integration, right. You cannot write because they are discontinuous functions, discontinuous charges, but here it is continuous, that is why you are integrating, right. You can never write this in terms of integration, it may be summation, but summation cannot be replaced by integration because of non-uniform distribution, right. But here it is continuous and uniform, that is why you can go for, or summation can be replaced by integration. Similarly, so this is now obviously you can tell it is what? Length. Similarly, you tell for the surface, what will happen to surface? How can you represent that? Same thing you will get, let you take elementary area, but it is over surface. So, you will get dq again or not? You will get same dq, but that is due to surface, right, sigma multiplied by dA prime. If you take an elementary area, let us say this is the total area, I will take an elementary area this, it is represented by dA prime, right, and total area is A, right. So, then dq will be how much? Here in this portion dq will be how much? Sigma dA prime or not? Sigma dA prime. since it is continuous and uniform, you can integrate it. Instead of adding, you can integrate, right. Then how much it will be? Tell. Actually, I have not mentioned. Actually, what is this dq in terms of lambda? We should write, right. It is lambda. Remember, it is r prime. That is also function of r, right. Then d l prime or not? Actually, that is dq prime or dq you can write, but that is lambda multiplied by dl prime, right. So, this dq can be written as lambda times dl prime, then lambda can be taken out, right. So, the integration is only over the path, right. The integration will be only over the path, and similarly you tell it here in case of surface, it is surface charge distribution. Then how will you write that? It will be same thing 1 by 4 pi, but of course, we are taking here there is vacuum or air medium, right. We are considering that the charge distribution is in vacuum or air. If the medium is different, another term will come here, the dielectric constant of the medium, epsilon r, relative permittivity, right. But relative permittivity for free space or air is 1, it is only for air and vacuum or free space, right. In general, you should write it as ER all the time, that is the relative permittivity of the medium other than air and vacuum, right. But if it is air and vacuum, this value is 1, that is why we are writing 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, only for vacuum or air, that value is epsilon 0 is only for vacuum or air, right. So, in that way only we are considering here that the medium is air or vacuum. Then how much you will write down? How can you represent this? The integration will be what? Here it is lambda, but there it will be sigma, sigma of r prime, then yes, divided by same r square r cap, then multiplied by yes dA prime, right. Clear? Suppose for example, this is the area, I want to get a intensity at this point P, then I have to join this also or not, and this vector is your r vector, right, because you have to consider reference frame, otherwise there is no r vector, position vector is meaningless unless there is a reference point, but that reference point is treated here, origin, right. Then now similarly you think about the volume charge distribution, what will happen there? You know, this is, it is a surface, this is a path linear, right. S means surface and path is linear, then another term will come volume. If there is volume uniform charge distribution across some volume, right, then similarly you will get a relation. Then what will happen? Only the density will change. Here it is linear, here it is surface, now it will be volume or not. Accordingly, that will be how much? d v prime, right. So, it is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, then integration rho r, actually it is smaller, r vector, then divided by r square r cap, then right. So, now you know how to get the intensity when there is a continuous charge distribution made in 1 dimension, 2 dimension, 3 dimension, right. This obviously, because how can you represent the density? Density is same everywhere, but how you know? In terms of that r only. It is constant, density is constant, but measured with respect to what? You are going from one point to another point. How will you know whether it is constant or not? Obviously, when you are telling density, it is a constant, but how to represent that constant? That everywhere it is same. It is in terms of what? In terms of that r only. I understand if you write rho only, that is no problem, but in order to better understanding, better write the vector, because there is origin. If you are not writing r, you are forgetting your reference frame, that is the wrong thing. You cannot avoid that, right. If you are writing r vector, it indicates that there is a reference frame, and that is the difference. Yes.
We are taking R cap,
Uh-huh.
and we are integrating that R cap continuously change over the path, right?
Uh-huh.
And it is not a function of length or anything. So how do
You
we?
see, when you are getting, you are telling about this, na? Huh? So then how that R unit vector is coming first? Tell. From where you are getting that unit vector? And this unit vector, whatever you have taken here, is reference with this or not? Where is your origin? Whatever it may be length, maybe area, maybe volume, but the origin is there itself, right? Similarly, when you go to another area, take the origin there.
The R bar will change, right? Continuously change.
Which one is changing?
The vector R bar will change, right? Like every path we are taking.
Yes, obviously, if it is not changing, then what is the meaning of this E? It is a vector or scalar. Yes, this intensity is a vector quantity. It has direction. It must have direction.
How do we integrate it? Like how can we solve the integration if it is not dependent upon the length or anything?
It only depends on this volume, this elementary volume. Integration is not for this R cap. R cap will tell you only the direction with respect to that volume, right? R cap will only tell you the direction, otherwise volume is magnitude only, no direction. So when you integrate over the volume, but with respect to that elementary volume. So different directions will come, add them all. Net vector is this direction, right? So this way you can now find out the linear charge distribution, surface charge distribution, or volume charge distribution. All the cases you got now the intensity, how to calculate the intensity at a point with respect to that kind of charge distribution, which are uniform and continuous, right. Then now come to the divergence and curl, right, because the electric intensity, field intensity is a vector quantity, vector field, right. Electric field intensity is a vector field. So then now, one more thing I have not told you. Let us say, think like this. Here is a length. Let us say this. Here is a minus L. This is the origin. This is plus L, right? And here there is a point P perpendicularly, like this. And now tell me how to get. And this is of course Z direction. And here is charge, here is charge, equal amount of charge. You can tell it is a dipole, right. Dipole means what? Equal but opposite charge, right. When separated by small distance, that is called as a dipole, right. One positive, other negative, but magnitude is same, otherwise it cannot be dipole, electric dipole, right. Then how will you get the intensity at this point P? Calculate. You know now how to get it, and this is not continuous distribution, discontinuous, right. Then how to get the intensity at that point P? Obviously you have to join them, right, like this, and this is nothing but your R vector. So this is your X, this is your Z, right. Now geometry is clear to you. Calculate the distance from charge to that point and hence the intensity. So if it is so let us say both are positive, let us say this is also positive, this is also positive, right. So it is not dipole, right. Dipole means opposite, equal means not dipole, because both are positive, right. Then what is the intensity at this point? Direction, it will be in this direction, repulsion, right, because of this positive charge, and similarly this is also in this direction, that is also repulsion, right. Then you apply the parallelogram law of vector addition to get the resultant. Two vectors has to be added and they are acting at the same point. So you have to go for the parallelogram law of vector addition to get the resultant vector, and that is the intensity at that point, right. Try it, how much it will be. Can you get my point or not? You can try for dipole, you can try for this, procedure is same, but the intensity directions are different, right. If it is dipole, direction is different. If it is same charge, direction will be different. Maybe magnitude same, but direction is different. That is why intensity is different. Of course, since I have taken this x, this direction is also x direction. So, here there is no chance of integration, right. You just find out for 2, add them all, because it is discontinuous. Similarly, you can find for the dipole, they are also discontinuous, right. So, these are discontinuous charge distribution, may it be dipole or may it be 2 different equal charges, may be positive, may be negative, but the directions are opposite. So, the intensity here E is different if you are taking a dipole, right, same charge, may be positive and negative, all are different because of direction. Magnitude may be same, but direction differs, intensity differs, because intensity is a vector quantity. Even though the magnitude is same, if direction varies, then you cannot tell that the vectors are same. So, intensity is different, right. If you take equal amount of positive charge or negative charge or dipole, in all the cases the intensities are different, or not, understand me or not. Suppose I will take here a positive q, negative q, then it is called dipole, right, or I will take here positive q, here also positive q, or I will take here minus q, minus q. Can the intensity same at that point? Intensity because of all 3 cases will be same at that point or different? Different because of direction, right, only because of direction, otherwise magnitude is same. But anyway, you cannot tell that intensity is same, maybe because of direction, maybe because of magnitude, maybe because of both, but it changes, obviously intensity is different, right. The intensity due to all 3 cases are different because it is because of direction. Magnitude is same, right, magnitude is same, but direction differs, so intensity differs. Intensity is vector, right. So, similarly, if think that let there is continuous charge distribution, right, continuous along this line, you can do now, instead of adding you have to integrate it, right. You take just elementary length here and another here, then do the work job or not. Let the linear distribution is lambda density, linear charge distribution, right. So, the linear charge density is lambda. So, find the charge in this length, find the charge in this elementary length, accordingly calculate, then integrate over the whole length, right or not. You take here an element dl or dl dash, here also dl dash. So, equal amount of charge is there or not, whatever charge is here, same amount of charge is also there if the elementary length is dl dash, right. So, when now you are going in x direction, that is why it is written, it is x. So, this is also x, origin is here, right, but ultimately the length is 2x, total length is 2x, density is lambda. So, total charge will be lambda into 2x, right, lambda into 2x, not x. Then what will the value of the intensity if it is continuous charge distribution at that point P, same point but continuous distribution, how much it will be? Of course, you have to tell what this angle is, usually let us say this is theta, right, that angle is theta, because 2 direction means there must be an angle, that angle here is theta and this is also theta other side. Then what will the value of that intensity? You just check it, I am giving the value, this intensity will be the volume integration, what symbol we have used there? No, not density, for volume V, actually that is represented as tau, in your book it is tau, right, d tau, tau means representing the elementary volume, d tau, dV is replaced by d tau, that is there in your book, that is why I am telling, otherwise meaning is same, right. So, if you find out, let us say you tell me about the magnitude, because integration will never tell you the direction, right. First tell the magnitude, then go for the direction. What is the magnitude? You know about this triangle, from there you will get the magnitude of the intensity, right. So, what is the magnitude of the intensity at that point if it is continuous distribution? How will you proceed? First, obviously it is 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0, then integration from where to where? If I will write 0 to L, integration 0 to L 2 times, same length, right. Then it will be how much? 2 lambda z divided by z square plus x square to the power 3 by 2 into dx. Am I right? The 2 is here. You can get it from this triangle, because this is the diagonal, this is z, this is x. So, x square plus z square square root is this distance, right. That is why it is 3 by 2. Then now if you will integrate, then how much you will get finally, ultimately. If you do the integration, of course, I have not written 0 to L, finite integration, right. Then it will be how much? It will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 twice lambda L divided by z root over z square plus x square. Check it. Or you can write that as 1 by 4 pi epsilon 0 twice lambda by s, right. So, what this s is the distance from the source, right. S is the distance from the source. Yes. So, now why we are discussing this thing? You see now, let us say imagine now this point is going to infinite, point P, right. Point P is going to infinite, then what this length will appear? It will also reduce to a point or not. If you take that point P to infinite in that direction, then obviously that length is merged to a point, right. Then what will happen? What approximation you can get it here? What will the intensity? When that point is at infinity, what is the intensity at that point? You cannot tell it is this much, you have to approximate it. What will the approximation? Because infinite has no definite value, that is why approximation, right. Once you are telling it is infinite, it has no meaning, it is just an approximation. But what will happen? Obviously, you can tell z is extremely large in comparison to x or not. Z will be extremely large in comparison to x. So, x is negligible in comparison to z. So, wherever there is x, put it 0, right. Like here it is 0. So, ultimately how much you are getting then? Z square, right. And it is the same formula. If there is charge at one point and you are going to a point at a long distance, at a distance of z, if it is a distance of let us say z, then it will be how much? Z square. If it is r square, if it is z square or not. Why I am telling, you see why you are telling x is negligible? Because if you go to infinite distance, this distance gradually compressed, that is why x is negligible, going to 0, right. But when you take the point to that distance, anywhere there is a distance, that is z. You cannot tell infinite, infinite extent means very long distance. That means there is some distance from this point to that point, let that be z. Then if it is z, obviously this is the field or not, intensity at that point. Suppose this, you see when you are going to infinite. So, if I will take, these are the 2 points, length, elementary lengths dl and dl, and here is the point, here is the point, here is the point, like that you go to a very long distance in that direction, right. Then what will happen to this x? X is gradually going to be reduced. So, ultimately it merges to this point, there is charge, like point charge, right. So, if there is point charge, you are going a point here, then what is the intensity at that point? By z square or not? Same thing, approximation also gives the same result, because this now the continuous distribution will reduce to a point charge, right, and result is same, right. Similarly, let us say I will take the point here and I will extend this point, instead of here, let us say it is going to infinite in this direction, that can be also possible or not. Point is there, I am extending the length in this way, x direction to infinite, then what you will neglect? Z, x is very large in comparison to z, right. So, we can neglect z in comparison to x. So, both are there, right. If you go in that direction, neglecting x, if you are going in this direction, neglecting z, right. And so, you know about the flux, electric flux. What do you mean by flux? Field is filled up by field lines, right, lines of forces, Whenever there is a field, it is filled up by field lines that indicate the direction along which the positive unit charge will move. If you leave it free, it will go in that direction. That is why it is the field lines. So, for example, here is a positive charge, and what does it mean? It is a field line. What does it mean? Means if I will leave a unit positive charge here, it will go in that direction. That force is acting in that direction, right. So, now what do you mean by a flux? Flux means number of lines associated with unit area when that area is kept perpendicular. The area must be kept perpendicular, then only it is flux, and it is a scalar. Flux is not a vector, because number of lines crossing through unit area when that area is kept perpendicular, right. So, let us say for example, if this is the elementary area, let us say dA, obviously it is vector, right, and the area direction will be perpendicular to that. Direction of area vector is what? Perpendicular to exploring area. In what direction you are considering? Either right hand screw rule, right, but otherwise you can write in this way also, area vector, right. That depends at what orientation your area is there. Suppose it is like this, like this, like this, like this, always perpendicular to the area, exploring area. That perpendicular is again find out by right hand screw rule, right. Then now see, for example, let these are the field lines, these are the intensity, field is there in that direction, right. You know about the intensity of a field, right. Then now obviously it tells that this is the direction of your E, right, that is the direction of your E, electric field intensity with reference to that area. Then how much flux will link with that area perpendicularly? How will you get it? Because the area is not perpendicular now. Could you follow me? Field lines goes in that direction, area is not perpendicular to that, but flux tells the number of field lines associated for unit area when that area is kept perpendicular. So, obviously you have to take, if area vector this is the angle theta, then what is the component of the area in that direction, perpendicular direction, d cos theta. So, obviously therefore, d phi is nothing but equal to E dot dA, right. Small amount of flux linked with area dA is given by this relation. Then if you integrate both sides, then you will get the total flux. So, it is over the whole area, right. So, this is a vector or scalar? Obviously scalar, because the dot product, right. So, the flux means how many number of lines are crossing through an area perpendicularly, right. So, this we will discuss in Gauss law, that refers to Gauss law, divergence theorem relates to flux.